So the year was 2013, and the group, my group, for those that have never heard, is called The Fruition Experience. But in 2013, we were at the end of an era, right before we would go through a change and kind of evolution of the group from a spiritual jazz group to what I would later coin as cosmic soul. At the end of 2013, the group now known as the Fruition Experience was New Thought Jazz Group Fruition. If you aren't familiar with New Thought as a thought process, as a spiritual path, check it out. Look up New Thought Philosophy. And so I'm telling you about this because I'm releasing a video tonight that, if you're watching right now on Facebook, is going to be on Facebook in probably in about an hour. And if you're watching or listening to this afterwards, it's going to be on my channel, Aaron Hill TV on YouTube, in about that same time, but it'll be there by the time you get there. So the name of the video is called All About Love Show. And I figured I'd drop it now, especially since we're moving through January, because soon we will be at the month that's all about love. So look up and look for the All About Love Show. 2013, it's a throwback, y'all. Can y'all believe it's 2020 already? The Fruition Experience. So at that time, Fruition Experience was known as New Thought Jazz Group Fruition. And so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the show, just to even give you like an idea of what you're about to experience. 2013, that was during the time, for most of you all that don't know, where my buddy Kier Johnson was a part of the group as the sax player in the group.
In 2 miles, take exit 31 from Maryland 97,
GPS.
Georgia Avenue towards Silver Spring.
So you'll see a young Charles Wilson in this video. And I think I look about the same. For those that know me now, I always say that my little inside thing is that if you know me, if you're just getting to know me now, or just in the past 10 years, or I'll say 15 years altogether to be more exact, then you know me as a guy who now has dropped a few pounds, but couldn't necessarily imagine me being 150 pounds soaking wet. When I say soaking wet, I mean soaking. I mean, like, I had locks then, so I mean like at least 5 pounds of water in my locks, which meant I was more so 145 pounds. So most people just can't fathom that, but that's what it was. But then I always say on the other side, if you know me prior to 15 years, you actually don't recognize me right now because you're like, what happened? You all right? But actually, you look good, but you all right? Like, you were not over 200 pounds. So, but I think I look about the same in the video. Blue is in the video, and for those of you all that know, recently Blue moved, him and his beautiful family moved out west for him to pursue his career as a Air Force chaplain. And I've been privileged to be best friends with that brother since 2002. So coming up on 20 years, can't believe it. And had the honor to play with him in a musical situation for that time. And we really did forge a lot. We traversed a lot of life together. In thought, in philosophy, in music, like. So Blue's in the video. You get a chance to hear him in action. And of course,
in a quarter mile, take exit 31 from Maryland 97,
in the
Georgia
video.
Avenue towards Silver Spring.
And so Chandra, for those that don't know, is the lead vocalist for the group. She's currently residing in Florida now,
right.
and doing some great things with her sound healing work and with her family, spending time with her family. So Alma came into the group exactly 1 year before this video. So you get to see early Alma Chandra just when we were all just like really bonding and just having so much fun together, like as newly, newly connected friends. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hey Monique, hey Shane, Kyra, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. Marcus Johnson, I appreciate you, man, for always tuning in. Really means a lot. Tina, yeah. So you get to see Amachandra. You get to see a really good treat with the good brother Leonard Jack on steel drum. And for those of you all that really love steel drum, I think everybody loves steel drum for like the same reason. Steel drum just takes you on a mental vacation. It so takes you on a mental vacation. Like no matter where you are, it just takes you straight on a vacation. You hear that, and then you're automatically sipping some kind of cool fruit cooler on an island somewhere. So for those that have been following Fruition and following myself in the music for, maybe a short time, only the past couple of years, 5 years or so, you might not have ever seen us perform with a steel drum. So in this video, it's really cool. We do a whole Bob Marley tribute in this video. And then we got the brother Frank Madden on percussion. It's another person who has graced the stage with Fruition over the years, is a good friend and good brother. And you get to see the very beginning of not only Fruition, but what will become the signature sound of Fruition. And you get to see the launching of a concept that I launched in 2012 in the New Thought spiritual community called New Thought Jazz. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of background on what New Thought Jazz is and how it came about. So I won't go all the way back to the top of my story, but I'll go back to my years in the gospel industry and the gospel music. And in 2000, it was about maybe 2009, I put together a small group of friends. For those of you all that know me to be in a band and playing with bands, I never, ever intended on playing in band. Well, not playing. I never intended on forming my own band. Never intended on forming my own band. And it just so happened that in 2009, I was with a group of friends, and we were playing together for my buddy Kier Johnson's group. At the time, it was called iPod. That was the interesting thing, because it was called iPod before the iPod came out. And you can imagine when the name came out with Apple, he realized really quickly, like, okay, so I guess so much for that. And that's what happened too. But at that time, we were friends playing with his group. And I think because I was doing some gospel stuff, I think one time maybe someone asked me to maybe put together something, or, I thought about putting something together, but I never thought about having a band. And so I think it was that I got a call for something, and I put together a group of friends. And then it just made sense to continue on with a band. Gospel jazz is, even still today, a very, very untapped market. Very few players in that game. Very much a niche industry. So I saw a great opportunity, and at that time, I was launching my company, Fruition Music, which would later become a backing track company, and to this day is a worldwide backing track company. And so decided to take this on, decided to put together this group. And so before you know it, we were a gospel jazz band. 2008 or 9. About that continues on. We do a lot of great stuff in the DMV area, and pretty known. That's how really Fruition became known as a band in the physical, because of the gospel jazz thing. So about 2010, going into 2011, things started to change for me as far as my approach to spirituality, and where my head was musically. And so things started to evolve. I started to get more into deeper forms of jazz, like traditional and straight ahead jazz and fusion. I wasn't playing as much smooth jazz anymore, and I was stretching out to some other exotic things. And so the group shifted, a couple of the members shifted, and then New Thought Jazz Group Fruition was born. And so at that time, in addition to musically things shifting for me, things were also shifting for me as far as my philosophy about life. You know, I was at the end of my identifying with Christianity, which I really appreciate even for the time that it made sense in my life. But I was at the end of that, evolving in thought. And from there, I started studying every religious and spiritual path around the world. I read the Bhagavad Gita. It was an amazing process. I'll tell y'all more about that in another live stream. And if you get a chance, if you want to check it out now, because I actually put out a few videos that'll give you the whole story, you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's a playlist. You can either look it up under the playlist. It says religion, spirituality, or you can just type on YouTube Aaron Hill, and you can type from Christianity to secular humanism, and you'll see the video come up. And that'll tell you more about the philosophical change. But anyway, just to kind of make a long story short, and that's, as y'all can see, that's impossible for me. Actually, this would be another episode of Short Story Long on the podcast if you all listen to it. So yeah, at the same time, my philosophy about life was changing. So the messages in the music for me was evolving. And so it had a natural evolution where, as opposed to the gospel jazz that we're doing and with the gospel and Christian message, it started being more about New Thought, spirituality, more about metaphysics and Eastern metaphysics and mysticism and that kind of thing, and then just overall principles like New Age principles that many people would identify it as things that were more universal in that regard. And so New Thought Jazz Group Fruition was born. And so this was the first show that I did in February, or that we did in February, and that was for New Thought Jazz Live, which was a festival, an indoor festival that I created that ran for 6 years straight, for 7 years, 2011 to 2017, it was 6 years, to 2016. And so that was another part of the process. If you all haven't seen it, you can look that up as well. You can look it up under The Experience Live on YouTube, or on my YouTube channel, and you'll see a whole host of clips from the shows. That was an indoor conscious music and holistic health festival that featured conscious music and about 20 to 30 vendors of holistic health, everything from natural hair care and skin care to massage and Reiki, self-help, meditation, other forms of philanthropy, as well as humanitarian efforts and these kind of things. It was great. It was really good. And so that was the beginning of that as well. So we were really building, that's how we started to build the community of Fruition followers. And so you get a chance to see that in that show. It's a great show. We do a lot of great music, and there's actually a CD that's out from that show as well, and it's called the All About Love Show CD. You can find that on my website, AaronHillTV.com, and you can click the tab, the music tab, and it'll also be on Spotify and a few other places really soon, but you can check it out and grab it there. So anyway, I just wanted to set this up for you to watch the show and just really enjoy the show, and just kind of give you some background so that I could be able to give you some context, and maybe you can come back here if you're watching live and drop a line. Let me know what you thought. If you're listening on the podcast or watching afterwards, you can drop a message to the podcast or on YouTube. And yeah, enjoy the All About Love show as we prepare for the upcoming month, the All About Love month. Yeah, so that's about it. Hope you enjoy it. Take care. Be well. Peace.